Shalom, my name is Yoshua Yaakov Ben Avraham, and I'm making this video from Jerusalem. I'm a didactic scientist, fancy word for self-educated, self-trained. I'm the author of the trilogy Humanomics, comprised of two paradigms: its central organizing principle, the new cognitive behavioral science. First principle is receive it to give, which means receiving the authentic you to give the authentic you to yourself, to your children, your family, your community, and your nation. And the second paradigm is the new economic paradigm, the integration of labor, replacing the division of labor. This is the way forward. We've got to make the future ours, folks. And to do that, I'm beginning with commenting on the keynote speaker, Mark Warner, the former governor of Virginia. I want to say a few things very quickly to put everything in perspective. Virginia as a state has, let's refer to it as the Virginia model. It has an average family income 7.5% above the national average. What are they doing right? Okay, ARPANET, the university network that became ARPANET, that devolved to become the internet, it was developed by the universities. The Defense Department took it over. It spilled over out of Washington and the DOD into Virginia. And this basic model produced an entire industry. And the entire state has prospered. That's the Virginia model. Okay, folks, where are we going? How are we going to get there? Okay. First, I want to be a contextualist and say some things that I can't explain. I can explain, but there's no time in this video, and I won't attempt to. Basically, there's been a transformation in the condition of man and mankind globally. I've observed about 18 years ago the collapse of the local reality, and its meaning is the end of man and mankind's exile. Both East and West systems were based upon man and mankind's old models, psychologic model of man and mankind was giving to receive. I give, I get. That's collapsed. Both East-West systems, they're imploding. The problems with the American economy are in the UK economy and the Japanese economy, French, Italian, around the world. Everybody's having big problems. Not going to go away, folks. So where are we going? The East-West convergence model is Humanomics. That's what I just said, folks, before I'm the author of it. But we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk only about and focus like a laser on its new economic paradigm, the integration of labor. That model has to be developed, implemented, and acculturated to create tens of millions of jobs, to re-educate, retrain, and retool the entire American workforce over 20 years or 3 generations. It will require a $5 trillion investment. It will bring to it it's a supply side major project, bigger than NASA, bigger than the Hoover Dam. 40% of the investment, or $2 trillion, will come from America, and $6 trillion will come from the European Union, Japan, the G9 strategic partners who want the strategic G9 partners who want to participate in it. Okay, it will eliminate the national debt, the trade deficit, Social Security deficit will triple the purchasing power of the dollar. It's a win-win situation, folks. This is where we're going. Okay. Do we know how to get there? Well, we know about 5%, maybe less. The Virginia model, developing, implementing, acculturating is world-class global technological infrastructure. The new economic paradigm is the way in which we export or import, or however you want to phrase it, we replicate the Virginia model in all of the 50 states, so that world-class jobs, people don't have to leave home, and it's going to change the whole dynamics of the urban culture, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, without going into the particulars, that's who I am and what I am, the author. The keynote speech of Mark Warner tells about his role as governor and exporting to Lebanon, Virginia, 300 high-tech jobs. Well, let's talk in terms of 10 million, 20 million, 30 million high-tech jobs over the next several decades. That's what we're talking about. The scale and order of magnitude is quite daunting, and it requires world-class science and technology. This is the big idea. This is not hyperbole. This is not Bob the Builder. This is not politicking. This is world-class science and technology. Okay, what else has to be said? I think that America is the nation blessed to do the job and to lead. And so I support both. I supported in the first months and over several hundred videos I made in support of Barack Obama. When John McCain chose this young lady from Alaska, Sarah Palin, he now has my support. And if Barack Obama comes out and demonstrates that he has the moral high ground, because that's the 99%, the one, if you want to know Yoshua Yaakov ben Avraham, I'm the leader of the Jewish community. I live in Jerusalem for 22 years. Ask a man who he walks with, and I'll tell you who he is. The meaning is whoever's closest to God and is the leader of the North American Jewish community where I come from. That's Yoshua Yaakov. Now, the God of the cosmos sent this young woman, Sarah Palin, a test, and she passed it with flying colors. That's the leader. That's the one who has the high moral ground, and she's going to keep it. Now, if that changes and I see the high moral ground is captured and there is a greater demonstration of leadership in this regard, then I will respond accordingly. So for the time being, at this juncture, I no longer support, I support Barack Obama and Joe Biden, but I'm voting for John McCain and Sarah Palin. And because either of these candidates, president, vice president, can implement my science and technology, it's my responsibility to see to it and provide it to the one who becomes the leader and the president of America, and I'm committed to do that. But personally, it is my responsibility and commitment to myself and to my family to choose and to vote for the candidates, the candidates that have the high moral ground, and that is clearly today John McCain and Sarah Palin. So having said that, I know that lots of people who over 50,000 people looked at my videos, and I've got oh, you're a great guy and all that. Well, and maybe 50 or 100 subscribers or whatever it is, I don't even know, I haven't looked, 60, 70, I just don't know. And so they will unsubscribe, but that's not relevant. What is relevant is that what has to be done and said, and so I've done that and I've said that. So to summarize, the keynote speaker did not articulate, did not bring forth coherently and clearly why the Virginia model. The New Paradigm is the general model by which all the boats rise. The rains come and all the boats rise for the whole nation. And the Virginia model is particularizing, bringing the science and technology of what happened in Virginia to every state in the United States. And that's what Yoshua Yaakov is capable to do and to deliver. And I endorse John McCain and Sarah Palin. And I thank you all for listening. And I wish you blessings in Kabel B'Shilatet. And most especially I praise and I bless Sarah Palin for her courage and the personal test that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the God of the cosmos, the God of Israel, sent to her. She passed it with flying colors, and God rewarded her and raised her up, and she deserves it. And so the high moral ground is I stand with John McCain and Sarah Palin, and I bless them. Again, in Kabel B'Shilatet, which is receiving to give. Thank you for listening. I'm Yoshua Yaakov from Jerusalem. Shalom.